Okay, kids, we're gonna clean up these grooves a little bit on this to fit this wood binding on. And we talked about going around and feeling everything. This side with this wood binding has a little bit of a variation I want to clean up. And I thought I'd show you this tool. This is called a Grammel. And what it has is a blade right here. And then this is the area that runs along the side of the guitar. And that's adjustable in and out here from the blade. And so you can adjust that distance. By the way, this has a rounded edge and a flat edge. So that rounded part rides in here, while the flat side rides along the bulk of the body. And so there's several ways you can use this and set it up. So it's very flexible, and it's perfect for cleaning up down in your grooves. Now, this is not an inexpensive tool. LMI sells them, so it's not cheap, but it's a great tool to clean up your routed lines. Now, I also have made my own, and here's a variation on that. It's set. I made them for one cut. This guy's completely adjustable. I can adjust every aspect of it and do all my different cuts with it. But this is handy too. I don't know if you can see, but there's a little blade, which is just a X-Acto knife blade in there, set to depth and to distance. And I use it just for a one size cut. But this one really works well. That little blade in there just skims out what you need to get out of that routed channel. So you can make these with an X-Acto knife blade pretty easily, and just think about how it works. So again, what you would do here is, in this case, I'm coming here, my blade's sticking down, and I rest this here and I just drag that through there, and it's set to depth of my cut, and then the distance in that I need here, which is what that is. And so if my router had ridden up a little bit, I can come here and clean that up just like so. Again, I don't know if you can see the blade in that, but that's how it works, and it just rides along the body. And the fancy one does the same thing. So these are handy tools to have to help you clean out that routed slot if there's some inconsistencies, which there usually always is. Again, because of all the angles, because we're not a Martin guitar shop where everything's set up to punch out everything exactly the same. At this level of building, you're going to have some inconsistencies on this sort of thing. So these are perfect little tools to help you clean up those. And that's going to be some rosewood binding, like so. I've got my bending iron set up, so we're going to bend these with the bending iron to fit this guitar. After I clean up my channel, so I'm going to do a little bit of channel cleaning up here, and then we'll turn on the heat and bend our set of wood bindings for this rosewood 12 fret triple O Martin shape. So now I'm going to bend these guys over the hot iron here. And a little trick is, if this piece is going on this side to where my waist, this is my details down, so my waist is going that way. And so if I put my other piece with the bottom inside next to the bottom of this one, so that detail's matching, and then if I bend those together, if I'm bending this one that way, when I pick this one up, it's going to fit that way on the other side. Does that make sense? So I'm going to put my two details together, and I bend these both at the same time, and I'm going to bend them and look at my body as I go. But that should allow me to bend them both at the same time. I don't have to bend one and then bend the other by hand this way. So put my details together, and then when I'm bending, and I have to think about bending this top one here to fit here. So I'm going to start about like so, and my waist then will be about here. And I can put a little pencil mark on that. So that's my waist. I'm going to start there. Yeah, and that should work there. And then that's going to go around there. Most of this stuff will bend pretty easily, just if you just had it wet. This is where you got to be careful in here. So I've got these lined up, and so I know where I'm going to bend them. Now I'm going to start my fire and get my iron heated up. And while that's heating up, I'm going to take these 2 strips and I'm going to spritz these and get them wet. I want to get them pretty good and wet. They don't have to soak, but spritz them pretty good to both sides. And then while I'm waiting, a lot of times while I'm waiting for my iron to heat up, I'll take a paper towel and get this good and wet. But I get that wet, and then I'll put it over. There's my marks for my waist. I want to keep that part fairly wet until the rest of this it's going to bend pretty good. Just keep it spritzed. Alrighty, so my iron's plenty hot. So now I'm going to take my 2 pieces here, and again I'm going to bend these at the same time with my detail to match on the inside, so they'll be the same. And this, I'm going to look at this one on this edge here, so that's where I'm bending to. So my first bend is going to be this way. So see, now this top one will, at this point it almost goes in there automatically. But now you see my second piece, which I had there, I turn it over and it matches that. So I hope that makes sense to you. So I'm going to bend this just a little tighter. Spritz it a little more. Look at it. That looks pretty good. So now I'm going to start this bend this way. You know, the guys with the side benders, they just put these in their side bender, and that's fine. There's no one way to do any of this. So there we go. Now this is my one I'm working with, and it's going to fit right into there, come right around here. Now I'm a little short, so I got to move everything a bit this way, and so that means I want to put my bend a little bit further here. Just to make sure I'm coming around here far enough. Now I'm ready to do my big bend here, which is going to be real gentle. This thing almost bends by itself on that big curve. Oh, it broke. Alrighty, but I'm not gonna worry about that. Because I'll super glue that. So don't freak out if it cracks, just keep on moving. And we'll make that work. That's the things you don't know until you've done it a few times. Alrighty, so there we go. That's going to fit into there. Goes to there. That'll all fit nicely. Look, that comes around there nicely, and boom, out to the end. I hope you can see all that. I'm trying not to be in the way. And this was the one that cracked right here, and that's going to go there, and we'll make. I don't know if you can see that, but it's the cracks right there, but it's still together. So when we glue this and tape it, and then if we have to, we'll do a little fill. So that's how you bend it with your bending iron and your hot pipe. You can see the two pieces sitting there on each side, ready to be glued on. Since this is wood, we're gonna glue it with our tight bond. So just be wood to wood. So let's get that started here. Okay, kids, here we go. We're gonna start. Make sure you got a nice square edge that you're starting with here. And I'm going to start that right in my center line and start gluing that and taping, just like we did with the other stuff. So, and this, by the way, is the one that cracked right there. So as you see, it's still together, so that means it's going to fit back perfectly when we glue it and tape it. So here we go. Can you see that? There we go. So I'm going to work some glue in here. And we'll start with this. This. So I'm going to find the middle of that. Right, a little of this. Put that about so. And there we go. We're starting. We've got a good start. Now on this, you really want to push this tight. There we go, good. The wood's not as forgiving as the plastic is, so you want to spend a little more time really getting that tight. There we go, perfect. I can see when I'm nice and tight up against there. Hope you can see me working, yeah. People, it's no fun trying to video and work on the guitar all at the same time. Keep forgetting to do things because I'm usually forget something about the video because I'm worried about the guitar itself. Again, you can come back and tap this in a bit. Alright, so we're ready for a little more glue. Next section of glue. There we go. And you can just squish that a bit. Oh, nice. Wipe it a bit. Ah, Jesus. You're hearing me grunting and groaning here. Use this really good stout green tape here to get in these tight spots and really push that in with your finger. Ready for some more glue. And here we're coming up on this crack. I'm just going to push some glue in there. And I'm going to go to here and make sure I get right past that crack. And then we'll finish up from there. Messy. I'm looking down on my binding to make sure that I'm tight up against there. So with each piece of tape, make sure you're nice and tight up against the side of the guitar. Nice. Good, good, good. There's that crack right there. Push that real tight. There you go. Nobody will ever know that even cracked when we're done. So don't freak out. Just, you know, if it breaks clear apart and it's a mess, yeah, I guess. But if you just hear it crack, keep moving. Same thing's true on the sides. I've had, you know, sides that wanted to start to crack and even have grain sticking out. But I can come back, let it finish the job, come in there with some clamps and some glue. If you have to put a clamp across there, super glue in there, fill it in, sand it off. It'll be fine. Sometimes it's obvious there's a crack, but a lot of times it's not. But a little bit of discoloration because of a crack, it might look like a knot. It can be live-withable. We're not worried about perfection here. We're just trying to have fun. all looking good. See, on these wide things, you don't have to have tape every touching itself. You can leave some gaps, and the gaps are nice because then you can see if you're tight up against your body. Oh, you rat bastard. That's why I like that green tape. I can really lay into it. And get those seams tight. Make sure all that seats properly. Now then, I'm going to take my saw here and cut this where I want it. I should have started at this end. I was thinking about too many other things with the video and all, so, but normally I start here and then make my final cut up there. A better chance of hiding it under the heel than out here. Alrighty. Okay, so now here's our next piece. We're going to start this one right here, or I'm gonna cut off about that much of this guy and start with that. Alrighty, and then that's going to go right there, and we're off and running. That looks good, and we got none too short. Alrighty, here we go. Same drill. Now this one didn't crack, so I don't have to worry about that. Rub my joints. Don't mind if I joint you. I'm going to push that tight right there and pull it up. You know, I see guys on the internet and they make this look so easy. It ain't. It's a mess. You're fighting everything all at once. So, just be warned. If you're still being able to see me here. Videoing is harder than building guitars. I never remember to do things right with the video. But I never fashioned myself as a videographer. Oh, that looks great. There we go, around the corner, the hard part. I guess you could use a brush or something like that to get this glue in there. I'm not patient enough to do it the right way. All the cool tools. And just squeeze it in there. The good thing about using wood glue here as opposed to super glue, again, super glue would work, but the tight bond, the wood glue gives you time to work, which you really need, especially in these tight spots. Lay into it in that waist. Now I'll show you how to if we got gaps, I'll show you how we fix those so that they look just fine once we get to that part of the build. So again, if you take your tape off and you find you've got gaps, don't worry about it. We'll make it disappear. And not with putty. You never put putty in gaps on guitars. And I'll show you what you do when we get there. And believe me, I've had gaps. One day I was at the and that's where super glue becomes our friend. Several years ago I took a tour of the Taylor guitar factory, and off in a corner were some people with some guitars. They were doing touch-up, and I could see their bottle of super glue sitting there, and they were filling with it just like everybody else does. And you look at it and you think, man, that's a perfect guitar. But even at the factory level, they're doing touch-up work like that. So we're gonna do it too, because you and I, we ain't CNC machines, and we ain't perfectionists. We hate perfection. Perfection is dumb. If all you had to do, maybe you're a trust fund brat. I wasn't. I am not. I work for a living. Try to pay my rent. I don't have time to be a perfectionist. We're just dumb guys here trying to have fun. And if you're taking it too seriously, then, well, that's cool. But you might want to, not watch this video. I'm not interested in. I want you to build. I want you to be competent, not perfect. Because you can make a nice looking guitar. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Is perfection the enemy of something? I don't know. I forget how that saying goes. Maybe it's the good is the enemy of the perfect. I don't know. One of those things. Now, right here, I'm going to cut this right on my joint. There we go. Push that in. I got a little bit of a gap, but again, we'll get that to looking pretty good before we're done here. There you go, kids. So you saw the bit. You saw me bend this wood and glue it right in once we had our channel cleaned up. See, I'm a little high here. I can see most of this is pretty flush, but for some reason right across through here, when we had our table set up and we were routing, again, it has to do with, you got this donut that's sitting on there with your router, the arches, we're coming this way, we're going that way. So something about it held that bit up a bit. But this is the part that is fine to sand down. This is the part you don't want to sand too much. So always make sure this really fits better here. Here, your eye will not notice once this is sanded flat that there's a little bit of a discrepancy there. So be aware of that as you go. So there's this guitar. We got the binding on the front and now on the back. So this body's all put together, and next thing we'll do is sand her down, clean her up, and then start putting finish on it. Now I'm going to set up for this second guitar and show you a second way to bend the wood binding. Wood binding is going to go on this guitar, and I'm going to start down here at this end and go this way. I'm going to spritz this thing. I don't have to worry about that flat part very much, but when it starts to bend here a bit, and then I also want to get my waist part pretty wet and keep it fairly wet as I'm going here, and the rest. So I'm going to get this started here. I went through and cleaned up all my ledges and checked it with my little piece of sample wood. There's that. Put that over there. Put my tape. I'll start with a piece of this. I'm going to come right up in here. Get on a mark. So, as you noticed, I haven't been bending anything yet. And you can see how nicely the wood's going to go around these big, long bends. Glue. See, I haven't done any bending of this wood yet at all. This wood binding. And it's taking this curve just as nice as can be. Everything's good and tight. Good. All right. Now we're getting into this waist, and what I'm going to do here is take my, I had this spritzed, if you remember. I don't want to get that wet back there. I'm just going to wet this a little bit more around this corner here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is take my heat gun and I'm going to just let this gingerly come into here. Gets a little hot on your hand. But look at that. It pushed right in there. So, see, it took that bend well. So now we're going to glue that down. That's hot. I'm going to put it on through this waist here at this point. Oh, perfect. Even though I hate perfection, that was pretty perfect the way it laid in there. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. You see? Alrighty, look at that. Now, I'm going to come around. I want to heat this a little bit because this is a tighter radius than that big bout. So I want to be a little bit more damp here. And I'm going to heat that up. And watch it take that corner. Look at that, perfect. Ouch, hot. But it just, that's a nice slick way to do this. I've been doing more of this than bending over the bending iron in the last several years because it just seems to work. I have had very little problems with this method. You pull it tight. Help it seat. Again, I keep forgetting about the video. Sorry. Okay, next piece of wood. We're going to spritz this. So, now we're going to start, that looks nice and square, so I'm going to start down here. A little glue. Piece of tape on her. Okay, good. Sometimes I've found that the fiber part of this will loosen up and move around under the under the pressure when you're trying to, or not even because of the pressure, just it's loose and it wants to move, and so you don't quite end up with it. I've had it where it wasn't quite all the way in. It was kind of up on the ledge of the body. So that's what the hammer seems to help tap everything back in place while it's still damp and a bit malleable. Here we go. Look at that, went right into place. Perfect, beautiful. Hope you can see. That's going perfect. That's tight. All right. Put a lid on this. Okay, now this time I'm going to cut through both of these at the same time, right on my center line. It's kind of like what the carpenter layers do. They cut two pieces of carpet at the same time to get them to fit. A better fit than the other one, but again, we'll cosmetologize it. It'll be perfect. I think that's a little off on that. Here. Well, there you go, kids. We did it. That was using the heat gun. This is a fairly small body, so that's a fairly tight waist on that guy. Now I don't know. I've never made a cutaway on a guitar. I'm not interested in cutaways, and I like the look of a traditional guitar. It just has that classic look to it. So if you're doing a cutaway, and I can't advise you on how well the heat gun would do to curve your cutaway. I suspect you might want to bend that over an iron. But for this sort of a thing, you saw this done in real time, and it worked great. No cracking, no nothing. Everything just went right in. Not very much heat from the heat gun either. I mean, I didn't spend a lot of time on it with the heat gun. I just, touched it for a few seconds, and it got hot, and it bent right into shape. So there you go. Now all of those 4 guitars we started at the first of this series, they're all now bound. Both tops, backs, and all 4 of them are done. And then I've got 2 of them already where I finished the binding, and I've actually got finish on those already. But then we'll go through the whole process of sanding these and preparing those for finish, and I'll do some of that on camera so you can get a sense of what that's about. Okay, cool, we did it. Okay, kids, if you like and use or find these videos interesting, educational, informative, or maybe just entertaining because you're up late at night, we'd love to have you support us. There's a few ways you can do that. One is click the subscribe button below. That helps YouTube know what we're doing and that we're serious about this. Also, you can hit that bell icon, which tells you when the next videos are coming out. We're gonna try and get at least one out a week now that we're up and running here. Also, a good way to support us is become a patron over at our Patreon account, and again, there's a link below for that. Patreon's a cool way that you can sign up and give, you know, $5 a month or $10 or whatever you feel is worth it. If you're using these videos to actually build a guitar and find it interesting and fun, please support us through Patreon. That's you know, I wish I could do this completely for free, but it takes money and time away from my other regular job. So, you know, it's a big undertaking, and any support you could send this way is great. So, you know, it's all been very fun so far for me, and I hope you guys are having fun at this as well, and we greatly appreciate all your support, so thanks.